All right. So my first question would be, what inspired you to start your own company? Mabule International. What were the goals back then, or to start it?
What essentially inspired me to start my company is that it's the clarity of purpose that I, uh, I developed at a very early age.
Mm.
Um, I realized my purpose earlier in line, and realized that the purpose is to make a difference in the lives of others. And making a difference in the lives of others, you know, is greatly linked to addressing socioeconomic challenges facing the country.
Mm.
So I'm one person who doesn't like poverty. If there's one thing that makes me to have a very, very painful heart is when I see poverty, when I see people suffering. And then I started to look around to say, what is it that I can do that can really make an economic impact towards the address of poverty and other socioeconomic apologies that are actually tormenting our nation. Then I realized that entrepreneurship is the way to go. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. And there's a lot of studies that confirm that when you have a high level of, of, of entrepreneurship development in any country, that in itself is not only a contributor to the growth of the growing, but it's also a contributor to addressing socioeconomic challenges facing the people. So at an early age, I just had the clarity that I want to make a difference in the lives of others. I participated from with a level capacity of capacity. I started selling, you know. But along the way, when I was working as a professional in different government institutions, and that's where I realized that I can link to that coding, I can link to that purpose to this interest of starting my own business. So I will say the reason for starting a business is to make an impact in the life of others, to contribute to the addressing the socioeconomic challenges facing the country, poverty, hunger, unemployment, and so on. Now that was not enough for me until I got an opportunity to do a psychometric test at an organization. I was working for political science laboratory at the time, and the results of the assessment said this young man is a natural head of business and leadership. That was the result this day. Then that confirmed my interest in starting a business. And I started to look back and said, look, I started selling streets at a very early age. In my school, I was selling street. I went to secondary. Secondary, I was selling peanuts and sweet. After varsity, I started selling chickens and cakes. Then the personality test actually confirmed that this thing is actually kind of natural in me. Yeah, so that's the reason why I actually decided to start Mabule International, that will focus on maybe that impact to in the society.
And now, Mr. Mabule, when you after school, when you finished your matric, take me through those days, those first couple of years when we are out into what is known as the real world. What was that like for you?
After completing my matric, I kind of extended what I was really passionate about. Entrepreneurship was something else, even though at that time, coming from the rural area, I didn't know that that's what we call entrepreneurship. No, on saving to buy myself, a soccer clothes. Now, after completing my studies, and after completing matric, actually, while doing matric, I was already the general secretary of the student representative council of the SRC. And that's where I started to see this leadership potential, this leadership traits in me. And then after completing matric, amazingly, in the same year, I was already planning to go to varsity, and other political parties were calling me on board to come and lead, to come and be the spokesperson for that particular big party at the age of 17 for that matter, 17, 18 for that matter. Then I went to varsity, and upon my arrival at varsity, one thing that I knew very well is that I don't want the other student to realize my leadership potential. I was passionate about politics. I was passionate about leadership. I was passionate about making a difference in the lives of others. Now at varsity, I made sure that I play far away from the likes of SASCOs and Azamlas and so on and so forth. Only to find that even the students that I was actually, in the same accommodation with outside campus said to me, you know what, Mabule, you must just go and be part of the student movement because already qualified to be the president of the SASC, Then I said, no, my plan was to focus on my studies because my mom is someone who is is an education fanatic, very much passionate about education. So my plan was not to let it down. So I didn't want to mix politics with anything except streetwise boys behavior. Yeah, so I did my first year at varsity. Then during my last year at varsity, that's when I joined SASCO. Immediately, I became a member of project and campaign subcommittee. I became a member of the education desk as well. And I also joined the Global Youth Development Forum. Just to, in my mind, I was saying, I'm trying to kind of embellish my CV. I'm just trying to create a CV where leadership traits and leadership responsibility, like on the CV software and look for a job, they can think you see a leader. Then at that time, I was one of the team that was putting together a radio station with the community here. And I felt this is a very wonderful project because coming from the rural area where there's nothing, no radio, no television, no park, no recreation, but the area is Makurun, just outside Polukwa. Yes, yeah. Well, I worked on the radio station as a program manager, set up, got training from Classic FM, got training for Push Radio and Lip Out, APC, Urazi, and fortunately enough, we got a permanent license from Mikasa.
How difficult is that process? I'm sorry to cut you.
Very complicated, exceedingly. If we need to talk about was you can have your own radio and have your own community radio. TV. No, it's complex because community, one of the fundamentals of community radio is community participation. You must mobilize the whole community from churches, schools, businesses, society, all community organization, community members to fill the forms and say we support the establishment of this radio. So community radio is different from commercial because commercial is just the issue of the budget.
Okay.
You put teams together, you understand, you apply with Picasso here and there. But this community radio, the community must approve that particular initiative, has to add their name to the IDs. And so when through the process of running around, fortunately enough, we got a permanent license. And immediately after I did a permanent license, I set this to the side because the aim was not for me to worry about make money. The aim was just to make a contribution in the community. And at that time, I was also facilitating a music project, a recording project to expose young people into music that was part of my religious denomination. Then the project also went well, got to the studio, recorded the first album, and I moved out. And then that time, that spirit of entrepreneurship was there. My mother gave me a party. I was selling eggs, I was selling chickens. I was selling eggs, I was selling chickens, got to make approximately 6K, the man, no tax, I couldn't really take notice that this thing is so powerful. I was following it until I got a job as an assistant product analyst with the science laboratory ballistic division. And that's where they took us to psychometric test. They took us to diversity management, diversity training. In that diversity training, there were exercise, which was of our personality test. That's where the result came up and said, this is an initial of the business, public speaking, and leadership. Then because of that, it reminded me of where I come from. Say no man, when it comes to business, I've been saying, hey, push, this is great. When it comes to leadership, I've been leading from church, school, and so on. But when it comes to speaking, I've always been speaking. No man, I trusted this result. And Lisa gave me a bursary. Yes, I got a bursary. I was at a UTM, I was a top student. The top student, I got all the station forms, so for modules, And then at Violence, I did a advanced entrepreneurship program at the University of Pretoria, which was one of the
This type of character, and I just want to speak about that for everybody who's growing at whatever level of their lives. You've got a type of character that you nurtured over time, it seems, and each time you worked on that type of character, you were gaining such great results that it became a part of who you were. Am I correct in saying that? Now, how important is that? I want to now align it with what's happening today so that we can help as we're telling your story. Where do you think, or how do you think those values are missing today, and how can which areas do you think they can be instilled those type of values and characters that assisted your journey within society today? Maybe you can just name one or two areas.
When we don't focus too much on ourselves, but we're affected by the noise outside. Hence, the subject of self-mastery and personal mastery is so important. You know, during our time, we did not have so much noise. Remember, even the issue of TV was not that much dominant. Remember, kind of the whole area where there's not even electricity. So we're not supposed to watch TV, someone put the generator. Very much, there was no social media at that time. Playing soccer there in the dusty, from there you were 8, you go to school. So we didn't have much noise to influence our thinking. But instead, we capitalized on what we were doing practically at that time. But today, I think what needs to be done is that the powers that be must create programs that propel young people towards the direction of self-discovery, towards the direction of self-mastery, where they will be challenging the research but asking themselves the question, what is my reason for my existence? What is the reason for my existence? Why am I alive? What is my purpose on this planet? What is my mineral right? What is the commodity that I have inside me? What is the power and the slumbering powers that's alive that lie inside me? So I will say the point of departure is self-discovery, knowing yourself, identifying the areas of passion, identifying the areas of health. You know, which many of the young people, they don't. They're influenced by some. We have so many celebrities that influence upon you to find that is their own mineral right. You have your own mineral right. You know? Your own mineral right. So I think the point of departure, my brother, is also solidifying a foundation of a professional career by focusing on what is the special gift that I was given. Either you believe in God or whatever, but whatever the thing is, what is it that it has given you to change the world? Because my belief is that every person under the sun has been given something powerful to change the world. But it's upon you to discover that particular power is good. Yes, and once you discover that, then you can shape your career and your character towards that particular direction. Then the issue of values now will become automatic, because you will say, what is I value? Some will say, I value fulfillment. You know, I value feeling, I value this, I value honesty, I value the development. Now everything will fall into place. But the foundation of a successful career, either as an entrepreneur or as a professional, is to ask yourself these brutal questions. Who am I? Why am I alive? And then Dr. Miles Monroe summarizes it and said, the greatest place in the world, the richest place in the world is not the diamond mines of South Africa, the oil fields of Kuwait, but it's the cemetery. Because right there, the cemetery, the graveyard, that's where we buried people with powerful ideas and brains that should have changed the world, but they couldn't even move an inch with regard to that. And he said, discover your purpose, you know, and act in accordance with it and change the world. Now I will say, that should be the point of departure from kids at school, primary, crèches, secondary. There must be a subject. The issue of being psychology at varsity, you must start it at the primary school, but start taking and never.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Wow, this is like it's a very profound way to start any conversation. And I'm busy wondering where I'm sitting now, because I know more than anything, I was looking forward to a business conversation, and it definitely is. And however, what I'm seeing is that the values of it all begins with the self.
Yes, begin to the self. Begin to the self. Remember, one of the reasons why we have high failure rate of entrepreneurs is because those businesses that reflect a bit. And that's what I would have to advise those in the corridors of power. You know, if I can sit in the corridors of power and make sure that if a person starts a business, it goes under their program that speaks about himself. You know, there is no high failure rate, because the people is succeeding with podcasts and others, only young people have to do podcasts. While the truth of the matter is that every one of them has a commodity. Every one of them has a diamond mine. Every one of them has a gift to share door. The question is, what is your gift if you are following other people's gifts?
Wow. Let's go into your views about skills development in South Africa, and you can combine it, whether we're speaking to education from schools, education, varsity, education with an upskilling at work, whichever way. What is your take on the level of skills, access to skills, and not just limited to education, and why it is important? Because I picked up that you did not stop studying at whatever level, and you kept going out there to upskill yourself. How important is that in developing?
Yeah, you see, the first thing that you must understand is that our education system is one of the poorest in the world, according to the studies. So that's why the issue of skills is a problem in this time. You go to corporate sector, they will tell you that you have so many jobs, but you don't find people to match those jobs. You check the unemployment in this country is very rampant. High youth unemployment is very rampant. But remember, you're talking about people that have diplomas and degrees and many other certificates. So there's a mismatch between what the education system produces and what the labor market consumes. That mismatch in itself gives birth to a poor skills development program. Because if you look at our skills development program, they're not structured in a manner that a person comes out of them with real skills to make impact. And it's because the skills development program are somehow linked to our own education system, which is one of the poorest in the world. And I'm saying this because some of my clients have PhDs in business and entrepreneurship. Some of my clients have MBAs in entrepreneurship. But the same people cannot run their own business. And with that, I must still put them under their mentorship program. Because the education system and the programs are not structured in a manner that will run our own business. They are structured in a manner that after completed that, you'll find another man's business with systems and costs. So I think there should be a revamp on our skills development program. I do training, and with due respect, I respect all the authorities in the skills development arena. But when I look at the content, the material, it's not really pertinent to fundamental challenges that people are facing on the ground. I'll give you a simple example, boss. You're an entrepreneur. But in the entrepreneurship studies, how do you find a conundrum or a situation where they indicated to you that sometimes you might not even have 20 rand to catch a taxi to go and invoice 5,000 rand. But they'll tell you about the 5 P's of marketing, all those 12 hours in the scholastic concept. But the real practical entrepreneurship, the challenges that you encounter on the ground, they are not there in the books, in the entrepreneurship books, because the education system empower a man that must go and manage a business of another. You actually find many challenges, entrepreneurship challenges. I mean, I've studied the program with entrepreneurship. I never read anywhere where they were talking about challenges that are facing entrepreneurs from personal development point of view up to the business point of view. I did the advanced program, and I never got those things. But when you're on the ground, you start to realize that, this is not the child's play. This is definitely not the child's play. So I was saying, our skills development, the programs are good. Our skills development initiatives are good, but they need some kind of a revamp to bring them to the ground, to make them more practical. You'll be surprised to realize that you find someone who is 36 in electrical engineering, but he can't even fix an electrical company. He can't even, work on electrical processes. I was in the past, running a certain empowerment program for the youth, and we were surprised that you have some of them in N6 in electrical engineering, but I still struggle to show them the difference, the possibility, the negatives, and how these things work, which is basic general science. So that the nature of our education system, it kind of influences our skills development initiative, because they take the researchers and data from the same poor education system. So there should be a revamp on it to make it more practical. When you talk agriculture, make it more practical. If you talk entrepreneurship, you invited this person running his other shop for the city as growth and peace. Don't tell them about the 4 P's of marketing, that they must set at the corner, the place must be strategic. Those things are working.
So, I'm definitely still here. I enjoy listening because this is what the listeners do as well. Because if it's information that is factual and if it's inspiring, it needs to be absorbed so that it will lead us to solutions, number one, and also these things, like you are saying, they're not taught in schools. And funny enough, when we do get out there and then start realizing how things are, we also tend to forget to go back. Or what's the process of? I've always asked myself, what's the process of changing curriculums, or just not changing everything, editing them to say, wait, hang on, we've been out there for 30 years or 40 years in business, and some of these principles are not, realistic anymore, because you can imagine how many scores of young people that are entering the workplace and they have to be re-upskilled, and some of them have to adjust to the work environment. Where do you think that disconnect is happening? Because this is something that's very important. You are speaking about human development, and if we are lagging with man-made things like education, our ability to teach each other what's right and what to expect, what is there a lag? If there is, and what's causing it, and what's the process of advancing education, curriculums?
The success of any organization or failure of that organization is attributed to the leadership of that organization. So everything revolves around leadership. You can get to a company and get all the best brains in a company. But if you have best leaders from the senior management, will describe that. You can get the best players in a soccer team or IT team, but you get the best leaders, either as captain and coach and administrator, so such people. So it started with the leadership. For as long as the people that are appointed to lead this institution and these programs are not passionate about that, so somehow our recruitment policy also need to change. For as long as you appoint people on the basis of political credentials, on the basis of political affiliation, Mabule, you become a minister of education because you supported me in the conference, not even checking whether Mabule is passionate about education or not. That's your politics speaking. So you that's why now our kids have to pass matric with 30%.
This is shocking.
So imagine being operated by a doctor who passed, I will think it's 30%, that's an example. That's it. That's the question. This is kind of the best. Now all politicians are celebrating that we reached 82% mark. Children have passed, but you talk about kids that pass with 20%. And in University of Stellenbosch, where other top institutions won't take that because they don't qualify. Now all those kids are now going to fit colleges and spend time in the street and take to go to the office and so on. But with politicians just let me add and send it to some we make it. And 82% population. When someone is in Minister of Education, or what? You must go to an extent of checking if this person was a teacher, or what? What type of a teacher was this person? What is this credential? What is passionate about education? Because otherwise, you will see there's a job to make money. And when you find somebody is a Minister of Agriculture, now why do you find somebody that even never had a garden? But one big manage much bigger, the constructs of funds of all the powers and the processes, the cabinet and policies, Yeah, so leadership, brother, if you have to solve anything, structure your leadership arena. Make sure that your leadership is aligned. Get the right people to the right position, not on the basis of hidden deployment and political affiliation. The rest will fall into place.
True. All right. What I want to know, I'm just checking my minutes on this side. What I want to know is, what have you seen to be the biggest challenge in business in South Africa? We are the majority. There's been affirmative action. There's BEE. There's all these funds and there's special doors and departments that are there to assist young Black entrepreneurs. Yet we we even fight with our foreign brothers because they are always selling, and we do not seem to have a culture of entrepreneurship in South Africa amongst us black people, Africans. And without going back into apartheid, currently now, when we are in the modern era, why do we not also conscientize it in schools? I think the focus is always on engineering, medicine, and your science and business. So not business, your numericals, but entrepreneurship as a way of life and survival, as a career path. It's not motivated. It's not encouraged, even throughout school. Yet it's the one thing that frees people when you speak about socio-economic freedom. Why is it not encouraged in South Africa?
We still have leaders that don't realize the power of entrepreneurship in addressing the socio-economic sides of society. And the information is at the fingertips of global leaders. You know, the economy of China has been grown by small business. The economy of US by small business. The economy of Europe by small business. Germany just came up after the war, the Second World War, but now it's the biggest economy in Europe. So you have leaders that read these things for the purpose of just doing their work. Because why are we not having entrepreneurship as why are we not encouraging entrepreneurship from very age? Why are we not having agriculture? Why are we not having agriculture in the Asian product? But the history is very clear. The reason why Afrikaners are so powerful today, they're still controlling 90% of the economy. You can say, what is it that material of the say? People just have minds. If they don't have food, will have to come to us. They didn't today. They are controlling the sector, they control the economy. Instead, we even want to take a land from them, not shipping it. We'll be able to fly or those land because they don't know. By the time we do study it, why that I'm making is that it was not the leadership issue. What's not the leadership issue? Or to stay after 8 years of democracy, there's no thought of just having a cost on money management. That's why you still find accountants that are listed. Because they were taught about how to calculate other business money, other money, entrepreneurship, agriculture, money management, leadership. Why don't we have those things at the very age? But instead, we still expect the kids to draw frogs and lizards and insects and name them. If the child knows all the parts of lizards, actually this teaching, we say the child is clever. But the same leaders to see that this is a mediocre type of situation. The same leaders that are talking about want to take their kids into those schools. So it's like being a chef who says, I cook for you, but I don't eat like that's what I'm saying. So the same leaders, I don't think they're put into public schools. They're us. They're still kids of private schools and so on. Because they are not passionate about that way. They're not passionate about, they're not the right people, but they're not the right tools for the job. So number one, I think it's the issue of leadership. Because once we have good leaders, then they'll be able to say, it's our education relevant. They'll start to ask critical questions. Why are we having the type of education that does not compel people to create? Because our education system does not produce thinkers, it does not produce artists, does not produce entrepreneurs. Why after 30 years of democracy? And we can go back to the question that we asked to say what are the challenges that we're facing. I've mentioned the issue of self-mastery, discovering ourselves, not knowing what we're good at, not identifying our areas of passion.